Welcome to Understanding the Christ Center channel, where we're detoxing religion and discovering self-initiated spirituality. For 20 years, I stood at the podium, leading worship and guiding a community. It was a life of service and meaning, but it also led to profound questions. The deeper I went, the more I sensed a disconnect between the institution of religion and the pulse of true spirituality. Today, we are detoxing religion. We are not throwing it away, but purifying it, filtering the living water of truth from the sediment of dogma and control. We are moving from a borrowed faith to a direct knowing. This is a journey of personal revelation and understanding. The key is understanding the difference between the historical Jesus, the cosmic Christ, and the ultimate adversary, not as a red monster with a pitchfork, but as the shadow of our own unmastered self.
Starseed, how you doing out there today? Hey, wow, this has been an interesting last week with energies. I've definitely felt a lot of early testing mechanisms coming back online, meaning how energy is moving and what one has to do to get it rolling, flowing, you know? And so I was like hit with the energies of the last weekend of significant transitions in the consciousness field, and then also the aspects of what that was going to mean for me moment by moment, but more daily. And you know, so I got a spirit animal just popped in. All right, so I'm getting hit by these energy waves, and a lot of things were coming up. A lot has to do with, in self-coherence, how we are expressing ourselves, and it's obvious, okay? But the thing that we're having a hard time maybe doing is going, oh, wait a minute, my expression is my own. Is this how I want to express? You know, is this really to make my soul feel good down to my gut? You know, there was an attempt to toxify guts, you know, in the timeline. That's what we'll see a lot of in our close friends that are, you know, they have a big gut and they're stressed out. And it's not so funny, but the gut is the womb, and it is a womb of creation, which means your gestation location. And then you're processing the incoming data through the rest of the chakras, including that solar plex chakra, which takes so much daily, you know? And then the energies are actually getting stuck between points, because what you're not creating, you're allowing others to create for you. And so coming online with the highest self is unique in the aspect that from within, the consciousness says, yes. And suddenly the energies start flowing. And then there is a greater release to the expansion of that energy, and it moves itself out into the field. And as it's moving itself out to the field, it comes in contact with other tendrils and waves. And the tendrils are something to be considered and looked at. Those might be clear identification locations for where there's something either attached or has to be looked at from the inside to that location, so that you can begin the process of that release, you know, really. So the pictures of energy are relevant to what you're sensing and feeling in the body. The gut being the area that the system knew it wanted to address per generation. Xers, you carry over some previous generational aspect in your body form, so your mind, body, spirit is not in balance, and then that's carried over. And of course, the longer that goes, the more that aging process can kick in. So we're working on this awareness right now, so that we can really kind of realize that there's really points that we can get into about testing the miraculous, the magic. Magic is also something that can be observed and viewed, let alone delivered. So the self-delivery of the mechanism would be on observation. You see that by adjusting your diet towards your gut health, that the rest of the chakras that get pinned up or locked up might be able to release. So you release one and it might release the others, right? So in actuality, that's how the system moves. Clairaudient empaths might even gone a little insane with overhearing the system, and I could see how, for sure. I really can. But it is something to be considered so that we can be aware of our movements and the kind of machine sounds that are being created with each movement. I know that those that would feel put down along now getting this kind of freedom would actually really want to go for it, but then my wisdom says, hey, slow down, you now have the window of going for it. So if you just compress that into a really beautiful creation that you're going to make, clean up that mind, body, spirit program and get that level with itself. So it's kind of like holding like at a level, right? That's where the level is at, is when you're holding at your good level for the manifestation, the beautiful, perfect manifestation. So once that's holding, then it can get on with really becoming and writing its own story and becoming its greatest probably model of impact and effect for all unrest and future generations to come, right? All right. So, all right, that's just a little GP3 this morning. I thought I'd wear my coat of many colors, if you will, and dive in a little bit with, again, the call to remember the self and these mechanisms that are moment by moment happening, and being very considerate in the movement. I agree that most of us haven't been operating like that. I know I have operated at a very fast and diligent speed that could also, from those that aren't maybe more used to that, find that to be very unsafe. And so we're really working on right now the safety of self, and the safety, knowing that the safety of self is actually moving out to the safety of others. And that's what's creating our beautiful communication and conversation. Okay, that was GP3, and I love you. Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.
Let's begin our journey by exploring some wisdom traditions that serve as our filters. From Hinduism, we receive the sublime concept of Sanatana Dharma, the eternal truth. It teaches us that divinity is an all-pervading consciousness, Brahman, and that the soul, Atman, is not separate from this divine source. From the Rosicrucian tradition, we get the language of alchemy. The journey inward is the great work, speaking of the Christos not as the sole property of one man, but as a universal cosmic principle. And from Hermetics, codified in the Kybalion, we get the principles of mentalism, correspondence, and vibration. As above, so below. As within, so without. This is the ultimate doctrine of self-mastery. The ultimate battle is not against an external Satan, but for control of our own consciousness. This is the path to the Christ Center channel. Join us as we continue to explore these profound truths.